for inviting me today.
Oh, no problem. I've been so excited for our little movie night.
Oh, is this the one about that guy who killed all those women? Like 60 of them? What was his name? Like William something?
You mean William Minor? Billy.
Right, weren't all those women like under 25?
Yep.
And he like cut them up.
Oh, yeah.
Kept them for months. Used their hair as pillowcases.
And ate them, don't forget.
Hey, wait, this doesn't come out for a few more months. How did you get this?
Oh, I've been a fan of Billy for years. I know a thing or two.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say fan?
Yeah, I've been a part of the Billy Forever fan ring ever since he started getting attention. It's like this little forum where we can like keep up with what's going on with him and stuff. I guess the founders were able to get an early copy, and I paid like $200 to get my hands on it.
Okay. I think I've had enough of this.
Me too. These gore scenes are just awful.
I know. I could barely even watch.
I mean, they want to portray it as the most accurate, the most true to the story, but like they don't even show the scene where Billy uses a femur for a lamppost. I mean, what is like, come on.
What?
Or when he used their hair for curtains. I mean, it's in every publication that's written about him. How could they get that wrong?
I just don't think it was that important to the story.
At least Timothée Chalamet did a good job of playing him. Did you see how much chemistry he had with Brittany? I think Brittany totally could have changed him if he just let her in.
Brittany? The woman he ended up killing?
I bet he would have changed for me. In fact, I've been writing him letters. Do you want to see?
No, I'm good.
No, come on, it'll be great. Come on, let's go. True crime. A genre that has taken the internet by storm over the last decade or so. Podcasts like My Favorite Murder or Crime Junkie have turned into full-blown entities, going from scary stories told around a campfire to big productions in concert halls.
YouTube has also seen its fair share of true crime content, one type being the ever so controversial genre we like to call makeup and murder. We could talk all day about the ethics of monetizing and exploiting victims. And if you go even further down that rabbit hole, another facet of the true crime craze reveals itself. Hybristophilia. Yes, this is so common they made a term for it. If you're lucky enough to have been spared this knowledge thus far, simply put, hybristophilia is the attraction to criminals, mainly murderers. Normally, I'm all about not kink shaming, but this is special.
If you're chronically online, you might have seen this phenomenon with the Columbine offenders. You seem to have a whole ass fandom dedicated to those two freaks. More popular TV shows and movies depict women fawning over Ted Bundy or Charles Manson, sending letters to them in prison, hoping and praying to get a response and that they're gonna find true love. But more recently, the poison seems to have spread to TikTok, like every other absolutely incomprehensible trend. The release of the new Jeffrey Dahmer special, TikTok does what it does best, make everything entirely unserious. Thousands of videos made to the theme song, filled with memes and, albeit appropriate, horrified reactions. However, also in true TikTok fashion, some just completely missed the mark. And if you thought parasocial relationships with regular celebrity is bad, well then you're in for a treat. So we all have our experiences with true crime because it's just so prevalent in pop culture, and all three of us, I think, are pop culture enthusiasts to an extent. I know for me, I would think starting back, I would say all the way back in like 2016, I started listening to My Favorite Murder as one of the most popular podcasts. I even saw them live, I think 2017 or 2018. True crime podcasts were like exclusively all I listened to for a couple of years, and then I kind of just dropped off because, I mean, personally, for me, like at some point, like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, you know what I mean?
People are fucking awful. I
Yeah.
You can develop a lot of anxieties from too much true crime, especially as a woman.
I watched and listened to them so much at the height of my depression. And as, you know, healing started to take place, it was just like, this is not the content that I want to consume as much anymore.
For me, I was around for the inception of Discovery ID. And, and you know, all those channels that started to become specific to.
Oh yeah, I love just even before I guess podcasts I would watch. We would sometimes watch it together
because that's
Discovery.
Basically, I would binge
like Murder Next Door,
CSIs. It started with CSIs and then it was Criminal Minds. Really, I didn't realize fucked me up till years later how bad that show fucked me up real bad. So I was around for the inception of all of those at a time where I was also reading fiction books of the same. I mean, and I'm talking sometimes 2 books in a week, 500-page novels. As Dad, you would read books with me when you were real small. You would sit on the couch, you would read your book, I would read my book. And you started even reading Stephen King at like 10 or 11, you asked me, because you saw how big my books were. So I really got entrenched into the true crime for a number of years. And I didn't realize how much anxiety it gave me until a few years too late.
Well, you actually kind of have experience when you grew up.
Grew up in LA, and when the Night Stalker was around, we would literally have flying the police helicopters to our neighbors, our hoods, every single night. I can't even tell you how many times my stepmom called the cops because the dogs would be barking and we would hear stuff in the backyard because he was killing so close to our neighborhoods and he was so sporadic. I was probably 6, 7 at the time, and I even knew what was going on. So there was even that fear at a young age that this bad man could break into the house and kill everybody, to a point that one night my dad even came home and kind of had a little mini freak out because my mom forgot to leave a light on for him because he worked late nights, and kind of came barreling through the house. And that was his signature,
was to leave all the lights off.
Yeah, and kind of came barreling through the house because he just, you just didn't know. Yeah, that was maybe where I got the taste of it and why I got so entrenched in my early 20s. But man, as women, I do not recommend binging.
Do have to wonder, at what point are we just desensitizing ourselves and detaching the actual brutality? Seems like we're going down a very weird road. And even with the makeup videos, for me, there's also a little bit of a gray area because Bailey's, she makes a lot of money off of them. You're using someone else's story as a way to monetize.
I don't understand people that actually are into it.
Into it.
I watched a YouTube video. She was showing true crime merch, which there was t-shirts with the picture of the Black Dahlia murder. Her actual body. I can't, how the fuck is that allowed to be?
Well, because
that is so disrespectful. I'm not trying to shame anyone who listens to true crime podcasts.
Oh, no, it's very entertaining.
I still listen to one every once in a while.
We're just saying it's not recommended to watch it in large quantities
Immerse
at a
yourself
time, and get obsessed with it.
It made me start thinking of all this is with the release of the new Jeffrey Dahmer special on Netflix. It's a 10-episode series about the life of Jeffrey Dahmer. We could talk all day about the actual ethics of making the series, the motivations behind the series. That's not what I really want to focus on. What I really want to focus on is a lot of the reactions to this special, because I think it goes just in line with the desensitization, detachment that we're doing. Some of it is just what are you doing? I watched the special and then I started seeing a lot of TikToks about it on my For You page because it's popular.
I've not watched the special, but I've seen a lot of TikToks still.
Yeah, same. There's not watched it, but I've seen a lot on it.
And most of them memeing it or horrified reactions.
Yes. That's the reasons I do not want to watch it. It looks horrifying.
Oh, that's funny you say that, because according to this girl, I'll do a dramatic reading for you.
Oh, I already don't like this. Okay.
When everyone is freaking out about how morbid the new Jeffrey Dahmer show is, and you're just bummed they didn't show the actual morbid parts.
And then she zooms in on a Jeffrey Dahmer face earring that she has on. So she's
fucking pardon?
Yeah. So
are those shrinky dinks? Did she make that herself?
Shrinky dinks. I haven't heard that in years.
It looks like printer paper taped on a piece of plastic.
You're just bummed that they didn't show the people actually get. I mean,
that tells me.
No, as someone who watched it, they did show a lot of sawing and
so it wasn't
eating.
Good enough.
Yeah, just what's the.
Ew.
You're just bummed they didn't show up people getting actually murdered in real life.
Did you want a snuff
film?
That's what I'm saying. What did you want?
That's so gross.
She's wearing the earring to me is just.
It gets even worse because understandably she got a lot of flack for this.
I hope so.
People are like, are you serious? What is
You're
happening?
idolizing.
See, I thought that was the end of the video,
psychopath.
so there's more.
This was the end of the video, but she made a response.
Oh.
Per my last TikTok, I have studied psychology and sociology in college. I have known about Dahmer as well as others like him for 10 years. My Dahmer TikTok was about the show. Evan Peters has done more morbid and gruesome things in AHS. I'm sorry to those who have lived under a rock and are just now finding out about serial killers. For those of you who said I should kill myself over a pair of earrings, here's my wallet I carry on a daily basis.
Dear God. It's like a point of pride for her.
Oh my God.
It's a bunch of serial killers.
Yeah, so she's just obsessed. See, that's a form of sickness too.
Like, that's fetishizing it.
Yeah, there's something wrong in your brain.
And well, just because she thinks she took one undergrad elective in college, she thinks she's an like what?
Well,
then
shouldn't you know enough to think about the victims of the families, like of the men on your wallet that you're carrying around? Like, what about them? Like, this makes me feel gross.
What the fuck is this straw man argument of like, you're just now finding out about serial killers? Like, no, we said that it was fucking weird. You're idolizing.
That's why I don't want to see more of it, because I know what it is.
Yes, we know what happened.
She totally just like pulled that out of her ass.
Yeah.
Also, to be like, I just wanted to see Evan Peters do more morbid and gruesome shit. Like, Evan Peters has talked about the effect it's having on him psychologically to play all these terrible, terrible people. Mm-hmm. Don't wish that upon a person.
You basically want to say you want to see Evan Peters actually kill people.
That's what she's actually saying. Yeah. I'm sorry, but that's what she's actually saying. And it does, like, he had to put himself in a weird headspace for quite a while. I mean, he voluntarily did that to himself, but still, like, for a long enough period of time, imagine what that can actually do to your psyche.
Like, wait, is that me talking or is that the character talking?
Yeah, which could really be weird.
It's fucking weird that all these middle-aged white women are so obsessed with Dahmer, who specifically targeted black men.
Gay men.
Black gay men. I'm a white woman and I wanted to see him kill more black people.
Like,
excuse
me? Go fuck yourself, lady.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. And then there's another genre of TikToks about this that I saw. To get a little bit into the problem I have with the actual series itself is that the series does sensationalize it to a point where it creates a storyline, a fictionalized storyline, and when you're doing that, when it's supposed to be about the victims and it gets very weird. Jeffrey Dahmer killed a black deaf man named Tony Hughes, and in real life he killed him the same day he met, just like all the others. In the series they portrayed him as having an actual wholesome relationship up until the point that Dahmer snapped, couldn't control himself.
Yeah, like what's the
like
point of that?
They show going on dates and having normal people sex, as what I saw one review describe it
like
as.
That's just weird.
When none of that happened in real life.
That feels weird, man.
Now I'm seeing these types of TikToks.
Is this labeled as a documentary?
Some people are getting confused with. I've seen a lot of people refer to it as a documentary.
That's crazy
because they
are
are
some lines.
Because they're also. I think they are referring to it as a biopic.
Just to paint it as they were having a normal life and then he just snapped. To say like he just snapped feels a little victim.
He's a fucking serial killer. I was just gonna say that. You're trying to make it cushy for the serial killer.
Right. Don't make a Jeffrey Dahmer series and then try to fucking humanize him.
Exactly. That's my entire they try to be like, look, he had horrible parents. Okay. So did a lot of people
who don't fucking kill people.
Exactly, but to try to make, you're trying to humanize him, and it dehumanizes the victim at the same fucking time.
Edits like this are born, where it's just... That was in the documentary.
Oh, that's weird.
But they edit it together like
they're a fucking
couple.
This is weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's again, it's the detachment. Like, do you think when Jeffrey Dahmer's victims were being killed, they were like, you know what, at least I'm going to end up in a fan edit 20 years from now?
That's so not fair.
Don't reduce them to a 30-second TikTok with K-pop music in the background.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're makes them like a willing participant in their own death. Their own murder.
That's so unfair to
and then
whoever that actual victim was that actor was portraying. Don't do that.
It's beyond vile.
Especially because none of that fucking happened.
Yeah, that's beyond vile.
What happened was he was just as brutally killed and systematically chosen as the rest of them. Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm Tony. I'm sorry. For what? You know.
I don't understand why this is okay. It's like making it a meme.
That one made me sick to my stomach.
Like,
And then in the comments, she had the nerve to be like, "I'm not trying to destigmatize anything. I'm saying how horrible it is." But
no, you're trying to get more looks on your account by creating some fucking garbage.
Again, with just casually showing crime scene pictures is
And
so
also,
gross.
Complete
Also-
disregard for the victim.
also saying he's Jeffrey, I'm
sorry? Yeah. I don't think he is.
I don't think you have no fucking right to say that
No.
on his behalf to actual victims.
Mm-mm.
And again, they're using that Tony Hughes guy because
Yeah.
they're pulling from the biopic as fact when none of that happened.
Which is so unfair to Tony.
No.
Fucking Jeffrey Dahmer content has been still perpetuated for fucking
Years.
now. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay guys, we get it.
Yeah.
Well, they
Okay?
did the same thing with Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
It's movie after movie after movie after movie, and it's like fucking shit.
Yeah, every time one of these fucking movies comes out, imagine you're a mother and your son was brutally murdered by this man, and a new movie comes out, and now you have to see on fucking Twitter, Jeffrey Dahmer's kind of hot though.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Which
Like,
is
that's
Because, like, where do we go from here? Because you can't deny there's probably a little bit of effect, like I said, desensitizing everyone to these types of atrocities. And, like, the TikToks we saw, where now they're just expecting more and more and more and more, to the point, what, are they going to actually go do it themselves?
yeah.
And I know, you know, like, violent movies and violent video games, you know, there's been studies. At least with video games and movies, there's an element of fiction to it. With this stuff, a lot of these people become copycats. They're trying to re-emulate, and giving them access to all this media
Makes them want to be famous. Why do we need to see this over and over again? Why do we need to see him murder the same victims over and over again? The same way nothing changes about what he did. There's nothing in the story that changes except the elements
That
of
they
drama
add.
that they add. Why? We didn't even need to see it the first time. All we need to know is this motherfucker killed some people and got caught, and he's away in prison. There needs to be no fucking movies made about serial killers. It's the same thing when there's another, shooter that comes out, and all they do is sensationalize
and say his name
the
over and
fucking
over
shooter
again.
and the shooter and the shooter. So the next shooter, it's all notoriety.
Imagine you're a human being with a fucking full life, a career, you've had life experience, you've done all this shit, and then for the rest of history, only thing you're getting remembered for is the one night you spent with this fucking prick.
The night you got killed, the night you got murdered, the night your life was taken.
Yeah, no one knows, like, what were your hobbies? You know, like, what
foods did you like?
Yeah. None of that goes down in history. It's just this fucking guy tainting your entire life for the rest of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
If you agree, drop a like down below. If you agree that this guy sucks. And if you want to see more content, go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell to be notified whenever we post. And drop a comment to tell us what you want us to react to or talk about next.
They won't all be this grim.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.